Hey guys, and I'm going to be breaking down the animated 21 Pilots poster that I made for their album Trench, which was released in 2018. I'm going to go in depth about the programs I used, the creative direction that I had in mind, and the overall final product. So let's get right into it. So here is the original image that I was basing my design off of. Basically have the vulture, Tyler, the cliff, then the ripped papers, and then the background. So everything besides the vulture was easy enough to both cut out and separate easily. The vulture, on the other hand, was a little bit difficult because I had to basically extend it to wing out, because in the original image it was cut off a bit. But once I was able to get that all sorted, I didn't have Adobe Generative AI at the time because it's about last year around March, so that wasn't available to me, but I just used a regular, I think I did a clone stamp or another extended fill to it to make it seamless out. So yeah, all these elements are separated right here, but then once I got rid of everything else, I did need to fill in the background because there would have been taken up in the original image, as you can see. I also had to change around the dimensions a bit to make it fit within the square design that I was looking for, because the vulture was going to be going up and down, and then the wings were also going to be animated as well. This is basically all I did within Photoshop, and once I did this, I exported all of my assets out to there, and let's go into After Effects. So here we are in After Effects in all of its glory, and let's get right into it. So as you can see, my file structure, I got my images, my main comp, my pre-comps, and the solids that I was using. The first main issue I had was the vulture, as you can see. So I had to use the puppet pin tool to basically assign different elements of the vulture that is going to be moving. And if you didn't know already, the puppet pin tool is a decent tool when it comes to animating certain people or objects. It's a little finicky at times, and especially since I was working in a looping comp, because that was the one thing I really wanted to do with this project, was make it so it looped seamlessly from start to end. And to basically do that, I had to assign different movements at different times and then make sure they all lined up from start to finish in the end. So basically it was going through, and then it ends like it started. So once I assigned all of the pins to it, I basically spaced them out evenly enough so where it just went up and down. The wings themselves flapped in coordination to the vulture going up and down as well. And once that was sorted out, it was pretty much like that, pretty easy. But there was a lot of trial and error to making sure the vulture moved in the method that I thought it was going to, because I wanted sort of like creepy animatronic way where it wasn't too fluid. I also lowered the frames per second of this project to 15 seconds or 15 frames per second to really make sure it had that kind of feel that I was hoping for. And once the vulture was set, the rest was not too bad. Tyler and the cliff are just static, nothing going too crazy with that. My original plan was to maybe zoom in a bit with the camera and then zoom out to it. That still could be in the works later on if I decide to revisit this project. I also had some early concepts of him either breathing or him moving and all, but he is pretty flat, so it would be a little bit challenging to both either take his hand, for example, out and move it around. But that's for a later date if I really want to go back into that project. The next part are these torn pieces of paper on the left and right. As you can see, they're just sliding text up and down. They each cycle through once. Nothing too crazy with that, just some position keyframes. This one has 2 elements, I believe. That's why I have a null on it. I did go back in this project and was a little confused why I had a null to begin with, but then I realized that these are 2 elements. I probably could have just paired them as well. So yeah, there's always a couple different methods you can do for After Effects. Just depends on the situation you are in. And then basically the only other element else is the background with the particle effect. I decided that I wanted to add a little more flair to this design that wasn't in the original image, and I felt some more particles in the background could play well. I think my original concept that I had, or idea, inspiration, was from Twilight Princess, I believe in like the dark world, whenever Link goes to, there's like a hazy particle effect that comes up everywhere he goes, and I really thought that could play well into the theme of this album and in this design as well. So as you can see, I have the white solid right here, and within that I have the particle world effect going, and that's cycling through. And to make it loop pretty well, I had to duplicate it and then fade in, fade out, basically the beginning of this particle effect. So as this one's leaving, this one's coming in, and then this one basically loops right back into the beginning seamlessly. As you can see with the vulture and the particle effects, they both go right into each other. And then this text as well, they also play nice when it comes to going off screen and then coming back on. So that wasn't too hard to loop. Basically the vulture and then the particle effects were the not most challenging, but the parts I focused a lot on to make sure to get it right. But yeah, this is basically the final product of it. Nothing too crazy, I would say. Definitely I used a couple different elements, I would say, that I haven't used before. The puppet pin tool was one of them, and then the particle effect with the looping is my first introduction into CC particle world. There's also a couple of uses I used after this, some other projects to help to break down as well, because it's a really helpful effect when trying to create honestly a variety of things. This is just one use case of it, but yeah, I was really happy with the final product with this one. So yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed that video. It's the first of a 4-part series where I'm going to be breaking down each of the 21 Pilots posters that I made that I previously talked about in my last video. And I hope you guys learned a little bit about my creative mindset, my direction that I went in, and overall, I hope you guys learned a thing or two. So I hope you guys see you next one. See ya.